All right, today we're doing something a little different. I'm going to be playing Minecraft while probably ruining my sleep. Sounds like a great idea. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there's something about reading scary stories while playing Minecraft that makes everything 10 times worse. Because normally I'm not scared, but the second I hear one random noise in my house, I'm checking every room. Anyway, let's get into the first story. This one is about someone who started hearing knocking on their front door late at night. And before you say, just answer the door. No, absolutely not. If somebody is knocking on my door at 2 in the morning, they're gonna have to explain themselves through the window. So apparently this person lived alone in a pretty quiet neighborhood. Nothing unusual. They were used to hearing cars drive by, dogs barking, and people coming home late, just normal stuff. But one night around 2 in the morning, they heard 3 knocks on their front door. Knock, knock, knock. They just sat there for a second. They weren't expecting anybody, so they ignored it. A few minutes went by. Nothing. Then they heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. And this time it was louder. Now personally, this is where I'm pretending I didn't hear anything. Maybe the person at the door will eventually realize I'm not home, even though I clearly am. So they decided to check their security camera. And that's when they saw someone standing at the end of their driveway. Just standing there, not walking, not moving, just looking toward the house. And the creepiest part, they couldn't see the person's face. They were wearing a dark hoodie with the hood pulled over their head. So the person watched the camera for a few seconds. Then the stranger slowly started walking toward the house. And I'm not gonna lie, if I'm watching that on my security camera, I'm already calling the police. But apparently this person decided to keep watching. The stranger walked all the way up the driveway, stopped at the front door, and just stood there for almost a full minute. Then they knocked. 3 times, the person inside didn't answer. The stranger waited, then they knocked again. This time they said something. The camera microphone barely picked it up, so the person turned the volume up, and they heard, "I know you're awake." Yeah, nope, we're moving. New house, new neighborhood, new identity. Because there's no reason you should know I'm awake. But here's where the story gets really creepy. The person checked another camera. There was one camera facing the backyard, and somehow the stranger wasn't there. So they switched back to the front camera. The person was still standing at the door. They switched back to the backyard camera. Nothing. Front camera. The person was there. Backyard camera. Nothing. At this point, they thought maybe the camera was glitching. So they went upstairs and looked out the bedroom window, and there was nobody outside. The driveway was completely empty. The street was empty. Everything looked normal. So they went back downstairs. And that's when their phone buzzed. They opened the app, and the person was standing there again. Except this time, they were looking directly into the camera. Not at the door, not at the ground. Directly into the camera, like they knew exactly where it was. Then they slowly raised their hand and pointed at the camera. Bro, at that point, I'm turning the Wi-Fi off and going to sleep at a friend's house. I don't care. The person stayed inside and called the police. But while they were waiting, the stranger suddenly walked away. They disappeared around the corner. A few minutes later, the police arrived. They searched the entire property. Nothing, nobody, no footprints, no damage. But the next morning, they checked the camera footage again. And they noticed something they hadn't realized the night before. The person hadn't actually walked up to the house. They were already standing at the end of the driveway. And according to the camera timestamps, they had been there for almost 3 hours. 3 hours, just standing there, watching the house. And nobody knows why. The police never found out who the person was. Eventually, they moved away. Now, I don't know if this story is completely true. Obviously, it's Reddit, so take everything with a grain of salt. But I'm gonna be honest. If someone ever knocks on my door at 2 in the morning and says, "I know you're awake," I'm not answering. I'm not even breathing. I'm gonna sit there in complete silence and hope they think the house is abandoned. Anyway, we've been mining for a while now, and I still haven't found enough ancient debris. So apparently, getting netherite is easier than getting some sleep after reading these stories. And unfortunately, we're just getting started. If you enjoyed the story, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll have more stories coming soon. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and good night.